There was a group of Christians called the Waldenses. They followed what the Bible says and believed that God's law lasts forever, including the fourth commandment to keep the Sabbath. The Roman Church didn't like the Bible Sabbath. They wanted people to worship on Sunday instead. Some Christians became confused and still kept the Bible Sabbath, but didn't work on Sunday. Rome's leaders weren't fully happy. They didn't want people to like the Bible Sabbath at all. They said that Sunday was a special day instead. They also wanted people to bow down to statues. Because some Christians wouldn't change what they believed, they were killed for it. Some of the Waldenses left their homes and went to live in the mountains so they could keep worshiping God the right way. There, they worked very hard to take care of their animals and gardens. They pointed their children to all the beautiful things God created in nature, and they learned that God doesn't change, and He protects and cares for them. The Waldenses loved the truth more than anything in the world, more than their friends, family, homes, or even their own lives. They sang praises to God, and the Romans weren't around to stop them from singing. When the kids were very young, they were taught to care about God's law. Bibles were hard to find back then, so the Waldenses would memorize many Bible verses. The kids were taught to be thankful and remember that God gives them good things. Their parents loved them too much to spoil them. They knew their kids wouldn't have easy lives. Maybe they would even be killed for believing in the Bible. They trained their kids to learn how to handle hard times and to be obedient. They learned that it's important to not talk at times because their enemies might hear them and they and their friends and family could be in danger. They worked very hard, but this was good for them. They learned that they were working for God. The pastors took care of the church members. They preached from the Bible and also visited sick people and taught the kids. They helped the people who weren't doing the right thing or those who were arguing with each other. They tried to get people to be kind to each other. The people helped them by giving them offerings, but the pastors also learned how to do a skill so they could earn money if they needed it. The pastors taught the youth. The youth learned many things, but most importantly, they studied the Bible. They memorized Matthew and John and other New Testament books of the Bible. They would write out parts of the Bible, sometimes even the whole Bible. This took a lot of time, but they were very patient. Sometimes they would light torches in the dark caves so they could see while they were writing. Satan got the Roman leaders to hide the Bible truths from people by making up lots of things that weren't true, and many people believed them. God gave people the Bible so they would know about Him. He wanted to be close to them and for them to know what He wanted them to do. The Bible is the way God talks to people. The youth were sent to schools in the city. There were a lot of things to tempt them, and they saw how Satan was tricking people there. But because of what they learned when they were young, they were prepared not to fall for his traps. They were not at school to make good friends. In their clothes, they hid pieces of the Bible that they'd worked so hard to write out. When it seemed like someone was interested in knowing the truth, they would secretly give them the Bible verses. Since they were little kids, they were trained for times like these. People learned about the truth this way, and the schools started getting better because of it. The Roman leaders didn't know how all this was happening. The ministers were trained as missionaries. If they wanted to be in the ministry, they first had to go to a mission field and help there for 3 years, and then they could come back home and be in charge of a church. They knew they would have to work hard in their lives, and that it could even be dangerous. Maybe they would even die for what they believed. The missionaries went out in partners. Usually it was someone older and wiser, partnered with a younger man that he could learn from. They weren't always together, but when they would meet, they'd pray with each other and ask for help if they needed it. Every minister knew how to do a type of job, like selling things which were hard to find in the area. But secretly, they would hide pieces or even the whole Bible with them and pray and ask God to help them share the Bible with people. Then, when someone was interested in the Bible, they would give it to them. These missionaries shared the Bible in many places, and lots of people believed the Bible truths. Some people even were killed for sharing what they believed. The Waldenses loved the Bible so much, and they wanted to tell other people about what it teaches, including God's plan to save them and how much peace, hope, and comfort they will have by believing in Jesus. The Roman Church taught people to do many silly things so God wouldn't be angry with them, such as hurting themselves for the bad things they've done, having to do lots of good things if they want to be saved, leaving their families and friends and living away from them in small rooms, or making very long walks to places. The church made God seem mean and that he didn't care about people. The Waldenses really wanted to tell the tricked people that this was not true. They shared pieces of the Bible with them, and that made the people so happy. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. They were so happy that they wanted it to be read to them again and again. They saw how they were being tricked and learned that they didn't have to do those things to make Jesus love and forgive them. They realized how much Jesus already loved and cared for them, and that he died for them. Not because they were good, but because he is good. Now they weren't scared about death because they trusted in Jesus. This didn't make Satan happy, and he used the Roman church leaders to help him cause trouble. The church leaders realized that if people started learning the truth about what the Bible says, the people would realize that they were being tricked. Instead of looking to their church, the people would start looking to God. Because people were starting to trust and follow the Bible, the Roman church got very angry and wrote a letter, wanting people to come together and be against God's people. They promised lots of good things to the people who helped them. The Roman leaders didn't want to follow God's law. They wanted to make up their own rules instead. Even though this was happening, God's people kept sharing the Bible with other people. Many people were killed for what they believed, but more people also started believing the Bible truth.